and Abishag, 1 Kings chapter 1 verse 3. A woman of substance. Let's consider that. This is from the Hebrew Isha Gedolah. I did not read that text in Hebrew, but I will walk through it, even if not all the way, halfway through. I would like to consider some aspects or features of this text. Isha Gedolah, it means a woman of greatness. The Hebraic construction Isha Gedolah means a great woman. This is contrary to 1 Kings 17, where at Zarephath, you got a widow. She was in subsistence. She did not have much. She just had some flour. And Elijah will come for a multiplication. But first she had to bake some cake to the prophet, God first. But in 2 Kings chapter 4, this is a well-to-do lady. Apparently, the woman was wealthy, although not independently so. Reference is made to the servants of her husband in verse 22. And she consulted with her husband before the construction of the upper room for the prophet. I know some of us, we want to express hospitality, we want to translate generosity by giving a sum of money to another person. At times, we don't want to say that to our husband or to our wives, to our spouse first. This lady, she did the right thing. Yeah, I'm not against the idea that, oh, I know that my husband would tell me no. So I did not tell him. Yeah, if you have a joint bank account, like both spouses, they economize money in one account, it's wise to talk to the other person first to say, I'm gonna give $400 to that person. And this is what is happening here. The women went to contact her husband. Could we build an additional room on the top for the prophet? The distance from Shunem to Carmel would not normally necessitate a stop at the village. Hence, the narrator emphasizes the constraint the women exercised over the prophet. If you remember, Carmel was where fire came from heaven to burn the Holocaust, to burn the sacrifice of Elijah. And that was like a site for the prophets of Yahweh. And Elisha's place was not too far from there, close to Carmel. But that woman is living in Shunem. Rabbinic tradition embellishes the story a great deal. The woman is identified as the sister of Abishag, because you remember I told you that Abishag is from Shunem, based on 1 Kings chapter 1 verse 3. And wife of Edo the prophet, 2 Chronicles chapter 9 verse 29. So in 1 Chronicles chapter 9 verse 29, this is where you got the women identified as the sister of Abishag. She would then be over 100 years of age. Listen to that carefully. When the rabbis, they study what kind of woman she might have been, or she must have been, they come to understand that this lady was very old, and if she's related to Abishag, based on 2 Chronicles 9, verse 29, maybe she was 100 years old. 100 years old. The text says continually. That means the prophet was passing by that place almost every day. The Hebrew is tamid. This is the word that is used to talk about sacrifices in the temple. Continually, you should always have fire, sacrifices burning in the temple. And it's that adverb, tamid, that is used here. Continually would suggest that Elisha habitually journeyed through this area from Carmel. Most of the activity of the prophet recorded in 2 Kings takes place south of Carmel, as I just mentioned. Probably Elisha, like Samuel, went on regular trips like this. I understand what is going on in the text very well. I understand what is going on in that text very well. Because in my hometown, there are some servants of God, people of the church, who came to our house during the time of our family meal. They know when the food is ready, habitually. How many of you understand what I'm talking about? When the food is about to be ready, someone is knocking at the door. This happens in the Dominican Republic too, and I used to go there, and what they say is a buen tiempo. Good timing. You're here. I'm sad. This is the section I know it would be emotional. It would be moving. When you don't have, when you poor. But one thing I know, that prophet had the Holy Spirit with him. That prophet was anointed by God. But he was going through difficulties. He is an old woman. You might think she was wealthy, she did not need anything. She did not have enough swing. She did not have someone to continue her line. And it's well advanced in age. Who could give her a child? Only Yahweh could do that. As a response to the kindness of the well-to-do Shunammite woman, Elisha wanted to do something for her. You see, each person can give something to another. You might think that person is very poor. He has something. As I mentioned, he has a talent. He said to her, about this time next year, you will hold the son in your arms. For she did not have any kid. Effectively, she had a son in the following year. When the son died, the prophet raised him back to life. You know the rest of the passage. The child will die later. But the prophet prayed and life came again. Generosity is a good quality through which we can express our gratefulness to God. We are told the story of a woman who was barren, but upon a prophetic word of Elisha, she had a son. Unfortunately, sometime after birth, the child died. This is recapitulation. She did not resign herself to the circumstance. It was impossible for her to accept such fatal issue. She believed that her son was the fulfillment of a divine promise. then no one could steal the blessing from Yahweh, not even the devil. She went to look for the prophet who was about 25 miles away. When people, including the servant of Elisha, Gehazi, saw her, they asked her, "What's going on?" She's saddling her donkey really fast, and she knows that the prophet is like an intermediary person, a bridge between humanity and God. God can do something for her through the prophet. What's going on? In Hebrew, Hashalom. How are you doing? Shalom means peace or well.